Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
I'm here. Welcome. Let's see. Good morning, Zero the Blade. Hopefully everybody's doing well this morning. And we have continued to have some serious storms down here in the south. Like over several hours. So last night was also a pretty wild night here. Good morning. Hopefully your sleep was much better than mine. Good morning, James. Good morning, Tomocrat. Good morning. Tomocrat was reading my copy of EZd6 and the binding is coming off. Still love the book, though not so much. So much that I might look at getting it repaired. Good morning, Mike. Morning Grinders, I was almost finished with part 1. Yeah, I thought that we should continue, because yesterday it was World Building Wednesday, and we were trying to look at EZd6 to potentially incorporate that into the world book, because I'm thinking that there should be 3 different versions of the rules. Pathfinder 2, which I think we should look at here, and then, but I got to actually look at its structure too, and then maybe some EZd6, and I think it might be pretty easy to put together, actually. So we're going to see. It kind of surprised me last time. or surprised me yesterday. Okay, actually, there could be some way to actually do this for Rabivania, because I wasn't sure actually when I was looking at that yesterday. I was like, I kind of remember enjoying that one from months ago. Is it going to be? Can we do a conversion? But it seems like we could. Seems like we potentially can. Hey, Sable Phoenix, why does YouTube chat now have a hovering emote button covering up part of the text? How do they keep making the chat worse? Really? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't see that. I'm on the computer though. You're in Tennessee, so you have so no storms here. So they must have just come through Alabama. I'm a little bit south of Birmingham. All right, so let's see here. What is going on? Well, today, okay, we're gonna do. I haven't got this together, but we'll do a members only stream tonight. I'm gonna do a members only stream tonight. I've been painting up some more guys. I sat down and I started trying to paint up some more guys. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to try to get a lot of work done this afternoon because I've got a bunch of projects that are coming online. Well, to be more specific, I've got a bunch of projects that were trying to be done for a long time, and now all of a sudden I've found different ways to try to get them done. So it's a lot of work. I'm trying to work as much as I can this afternoon, and then I'm going to hang out with you guys to continue painting up some crossbowmen. Let's see. I started painting. Here we go. I started painting them from the bottom up. So I've got these crossbowmen, but I really like how they're coming out. These are Lannister crossbowmen from the Song of Ice and Fire, and they were in there. I was about to wrap up kind of painting for a little while, but I thought doing a red unit would be really cool. So I've been painting these guys from the feet up, and so I'm going to finish, or I'm going to finish. Who knows? I'm going to work on those guys tonight. I did finish my other unit over there, my other army over there, but I got to base them. These guys are all on these giant circular bases, which is nice that all these guys, the Song of Ice and Fire guys, come already assembled and on a base, except for they're really actually rather big bases, and they don't really rank up very well as far as a regiment goes on the size that they should be. So I got to figure out a way to get these guys off these bases. I might have to think about that this afternoon. It would be great if I could cut some of those guys off and then actually start basing them, but I may have other things I've got to do. But anyway, I'm kind of liking how this crossbowmen are going. So tonight we'll do a members only stream. We will talk about last time I invited people on the stream. So on the stream, I can have up to 10 people on the stream at a time so we can have discussion. So we can talk about, James said he wanted to talk about 10 candles and he wanted to talk about last night's conversation with Michelle. So if you want, that's great. We have other topics you want to talk about or you want to bring up. I'm going to have to catch up again, I suppose, on more of this alien stuff, the UFO stuff. I was noticing that Schellenberger and Michael Shermer had a conversation yesterday on this subject, and I didn't get finished with it. I just sort of got it started, but I was like, no, wait a minute. So now Michael Shermer and Schellenberger are talking about the UFO thing, so I might have to look at that. If we need to talk about that, we can talk about that as well. So we'll have I can have up to 10 people on the stream. So if you're a channel member and you want to chat about those things, we don't have to have 10 people on the channel at one time, but we could have up to that number for people who actually want to have a discussion on some of the things that we've been talking about. James says, excited to talk. Oh, you got light rain out there in the Utah desert. So last time, Sable Phoenix and James were both on the stream a week ago. So maybe they will be back tonight. But like I said, if you are interested, we will be doing that tonight. Come and hang out for friendship and camaraderie. So tomorrow will be Friday, right? So tomorrow, Friday, I would like to play some Hero Quest tomorrow, but my paints are still out here. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I didn't get to move everything into the living room yet. So we'll see. I'd like to do some Hero Quest, but if not, then what we'll do is we'll do a live stream for a Crafter's Corner. Maybe doing some more discussion, maybe about orcs or something like that tomorrow evening. So tomorrow evening we'll have some type of stream. Then, let me get the link for this. Saturday, we have not only the Morning Grind live stream, but RM is hosting the Cultist Season 2 watch party. The Cultists is, of course, my show. I was the creator, producer, and co-writer of the show. Brianna was the co-writer and director. And RM is doing a watch party for that, for my show. It's here on YouTube, on my channel, but we're going to do a live watch party. We did a fantastic, it was so much fun last, it was 2 weeks ago. I can't believe this has been 2 weeks ago. I mean, time is just bleeding. I'm bleeding time. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but I feel like I'm just bleeding time. So this is the Cultists Season 2 watch party. That's on Friday. No, that's on Saturday. That's on Saturday. That is on Saturday. It says at 5:00 p.m. So that'd be my time. So this is the 5:00 Central. I'll say the Cultist Season 2 watch party on the Burnett Work YouTube channel. RM is hosting. And so if you want to watch that with us, we're watching the whole season live. This whole season's only 1 hour long. So the season's 1 hour long. So it's a 1 hour watch party. And because I own the show, we can actually watch it live. You don't have to, click. So with most watch parties, you got to actually watch the movie on your own while other people are watching, on YouTube. Because you can't actually show you can't actually show it on YouTube for copyright reasons. But since I own it, I just sent the file over and we can all watch. I know I'm bleeding. I always am. I am bleeding time. I am bleeding time. I feel like I'm in a 10 candles game and I'm just watching all the candles burn out. So that's going on Saturday. Also, if you have not, I'm expecting Kickstarter to deposit the funds for Goodnight Sword tomorrow morning. I'm expecting, they might be there today. I'll check, but I'm expecting those funds to be deposited tomorrow. As soon as that happens, I'm going to be sending out all of the books that do not require my signature. So if you have not filled out your survey, please do that, because as soon as that money comes in, I'm going to order and send out all of the books that do not require my signature by the end of the weekend. I'll be getting those out of here. But then also, I have not gotten in the books that I have to sign yet. I sent out 3 of them. 3 of them I was able to send out because I had 3 extra copies here. So 3 books have already gone out, but I'm still waiting around for notification that the books have shipped to me to sign. So just on hold for that. All right. That's what's going on. I'm looking at, I'm bringing up my book here. Sable Phoenix says, I actually made a late pledge for the physical book. I haven't gotten a survey about it yet. Well, you probably won't get a survey for the physical book. If you placed a late pledge for the physical book, then I already have your address, because Shopify gets your address when you check out. So the survey on Kickstarter, I don't have everybody's address on Kickstarter. So I really need, it wouldn't make so much more sense if you actually had your shipping address, you sent in your shipping address when you made your Kickstarter pledge. That way I already had that way you only had to go to Kickstarter once. You only had to go to that page once, go ahead and make your pledge, and then also enter your shipping address. And then I could send it out. But no. Kickstarter says, okay, go ahead and make your pledge. Now, no, don't go. I won't ask you about your address right now. Send out a survey that will get people to send you their address later. I don't know. There's so many things about actually Kickstarter itself that makes no sense. That's one of them. So yeah, if you made the late pledge, then I already have your address. All right. Okay, let's bring up this world primer over here. And let's see here. Yeah, it's not. I wish more people. Well, see, that's probably part of it too. Yeah, but Kickstarter doesn't show me an email address for a backer until after the campaign has been successful. So it could do the same way with addresses. Go ahead and put in your address, But just like it doesn't show me your email address unless it's successful, unless you actually need it then to fulfill, you could do the same thing where, well, the person already entered all the information that you need, but you don't actually see that information until it's successful. You could do it that way. I mean, you could do it that way. They already do that with the email address. I'm putting together, I've put together an Indiegogo campaign before. I'm thinking about doing Indiegogo again. And I've got something already set up to go on GameFound. We're going to talk more about that in the coming days and weeks. Because there are systems that are built better, especially on the back end. Hey, good morning, Carl. Carl Makes Stuff is here. But the problem is a lot of people don't accept it. like I said, that if you're doing like a tabletop game and you put it, so if you put it on Indiegogo, if you put it on Indiegogo, people are going to think something's wrong with it. Zero the Blade says, I got an email for the ebook, but not one asking for my address. Check out. I can get in touch with you, or we can look at it. We can look at it later, because I'm not sure how to connect you, Zero the Blade, to your Kickstarter handle. But they should. It should have sent out. I can tell who has not filled out their survey and stuff. So if you go to Kickstarter, you might be able to see a link there, like, oh, click my survey or finish my survey or something like that, because it should be there. I mean, I've already gotten a lot of surveys back, and I sent that out, of course, just through Kickstarter system. So if we need to come up with another way to do it, we can. And of course, that I only sent out those surveys, of course, for the people who are getting physical books. So the digital books have already gone out to the Kickstarter backers. All right. So, all right. So this is where we stood. And I started back at the top. And I was like, all right. And I think I'm going to have to design this differently next time I do one of these world books. Because I feel like this project has been with me for a while. It's because I went through and I wrote all of the lore, and then I've been trying to come back through here and do RPG adaptions for it. So we're going to have, okay, so the credit page right here. So the 5e credit page. But I'm going to need a new credit page for a Pathfinder 2e credits page. Because this is going to end up being 3 different books. And then plus an EZd6 credits page. The passage on adapting scaling weights and distances was very similar for 5e and Pathfinder. So that's the first, well, after the credits. The next system specific thing that has to be said is, how do we deal with scaling weights and sizes? And of course the answer is basically don't worry about scaling them. Just go ahead and run with the system as it is. But I think it should be in there, and then, but it's customized for Pathfinder 2e and 5e, which does mean that we're going to need one of those for EZd6 as well. EZd6 adapting but there isn't very much about encumbrance, and I mean, I think that's going to be an even simpler passage right there, because there's even less work to do in EZd6. It needs to be there. Now, I did work on Pathfinder 2 rabbit traits, because my idea was that if I could figure out what's going on in 5e, then I can use at least a 5e adaptation of any particular parts of these, like a rabbit species template. Then I can use that to go over to other systems with. It's not a perfect system, But, I don't want to try to recreate each one from scratch. Once I've got something that kind of works from a game perspective, I need to, I want to be able to just, basically convert the conversion, right? Well, see, that's what I'm thinking too. See, I'm thinking that I'm going to need, because I don't at the moment, and we're going to take a look at a couple of things. I'm happy with the way that the species template came out, but I was like, we're gonna take a look here at the way that they create custom classes, because I part of it was that you don't create custom classes, but what you do is you customize within. So now also the thing to do is to bring somebody else on as well. I think that's going to be a great thing to do. So I don't want to have somebody starting from scratch and say, hey, take a look at the Tales of Rabivania and how do we convert this over to Pathfinder 2e or EZd6. I need to take a first good stab at it, but then somebody else who is much more familiar with it needs to come by and clean it up. Okay, so like for 5e, we had said your dexterity score increases by 2 and your wisdom and score increases by 1. Size bipedal rabbits or medium creatures. Speed your bipedal rabbits. Why not just rabbits or medium creatures? Speed, your base walking speed is 30 feet. Keen ears, you have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on hearing. Always ready, your quick reflexes give you advantage on initiative rolls. Long jump, as an action, you may make a long jump up to 20 feet and a high jump up to 10 feet, even if you do not have a running start. And then burrower, you have proficiency in the athletic skill when making checks to dig, tunnel, or excavate. You can also burrow through loose soil at a rate of 5 feet per round. A conversion for Pathfinder, I think, seems to go like this. So rabbits are ability boosts. Rabbits are nimble and perceptive, but they are all not known for their physical resilience. They gain boosts to their dexterity and wisdom, but they take an ability flaw to their constitution. See if this sounds right. Carl Make Stuff says there's a book of characters for EZd6 that's coming out later in this year that allows for custom class creation. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if it'd be possible to look at some of that earlier on. Hit points. Rabbits are rather fragile. They gain 6 hit points from their ancestry at level 1. Size, rabbits are medium creatures. Speed, rabbits have a base speed of 25 feet. Languages, rabbits begin play speaking Lapine. Rabbits with high intelligence scores can choose any of the following. Vospir, what? Gnomish, Sylvan, and other languages. So obviously, that's not right. We want... did we have the mice with their own language? I don't think we actually did. What was our... squirrel. What language do the squirrels speak? Did we come up with one of those? Oh, no, we hadn't actually defined... okay, so we hadn't actually gotten finished with that yet, because we don't have a squirrel language. I keep thinking I'm closer to being done than I am. I'm sure if you reached out to DM Scotty, he would give you a preview. He probably would. I noticed actually this morning as I was coming in here to the morning grind that apparently he posted on yesterday's stream, and so I want to reach out to him. I want to reach out to him anyway because I want to just connect with somebody. Because, like I said, I'd like to have somebody else who is more familiar with the system once I take a stab at creating all of the characters and classes from my side of things. I'd like to find out what somebody says. Who is more familiar with it, like make another pass over this. Like I said, no, I don't see the point in having them do it from scratch because it's my world and I need to make sure that the things generally line up the way that I want them to. But I need an expert in both of those different systems to make a pass over it. So I would love to have him on too. He needs to come on Table Talk. Maybe he would do that, especially since we're working on an EZd6 book. So I will reach out to him and see what he has to see if he's willing to come on, because I would love to talk to him And yeah, especially if he's got a book coming about custom character creation. Okay. Well, okay, hold on. So we've got this problem that we don't know what the squirrels speak. Is what Still Mongoose says, what do the squirrels say? So let's see. So if Lapine is the language of the rabbits, and then Batsbeer of the raccoons, what is the language of the squirrels? Let's see what a large language model has to say. Oh, okay.
Silurine, deriving from
Silurine? So the large language model is recommending what? Serine? So actually that should probably come first because this is the squirrel. Good morning, PH. Use chitter. We had chitter for rats. We had chitter for like a dialect or like a thieves' cant among rats. Yeah. Excuse me. I like that better. And it's a little bit more pronounceable than this thing that the OpenAI recommended. Let's use that. Skura. Yeah, I agree too. Okay, so let's go with that. So that means that so we were looking at that because right here. What about mice? I would think in this world, the mice do not use their language a lot because they are so integrated into Rabivanian society, which is why I just had them speaking Lapine. Who gets urine? Urine. Urine. Who gets urine as a language? Well, let's see. What about Skira, Waspbeer, or any other languages to which they have access, such as languages prevalent in their region? Traits. So traits. Traits have the humanoid and rabbit traits. Special abilities: keen ears. Rabbits gain +2 circumstance bonus to perception checks that rely on hearing. Always ready. You gain +1 circumstance bonus to initiative rolls due to your natural reflexes. Long jump. So the rabbits can leap up to 20 feet horizontally or 10 feet vertically from a standing position without having to make an athletics check. Burrower. Rabbits are proficient in athletics and gain +2 circumstance bonus to athletics checks for digging, tunneling, or excavating. They can also gain a burrower speed for 5 feet, but only through loose soil. And then I thought this was neat. So we didn't have different types of rabbits for 5e, but I need to. Where's this Pathfinder book? So I know, is this how Pathfinder does things? Because this is pretty cool. There are 2 potential heritage options for rabbit characters. Mountain hare heritage, living in high altitudes. Your fur is thicker and you're adapted to cold climates. You gain cold resistance equal to half your level and treat environmental cold effects as if they were 1 step less severe. or Cottontail heritage, you are more adept at hiding within your surroundings. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to stealth checks when in natural environments. I think, generally speaking, I like this rabbit write-up. I like it even better than what the 5th edition write-up. But now, does that actually conform to Pathfinder? I also like that this actually has heritage options here. Who knows Pathfinder well enough to say? Let's get an example. Okay, here's Pathfinder core rulebook. Like character ancestries and backgrounds. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, for instance, a goblin. Okay, so goblin. So what kind of information do you get if you're a goblin? So it does say, like, okay, so hit points for a goblin. It gives me hit points. It gives me the size of the creature. Okay, size of the creature, check. Speed of the creature, check. Ability boosts. So a goblin has 3 ability boosts and then 1 ability flaw. What languages they speak. Traits. See this down here where it says traits. Right here. Rabbits are humanoid and rabbit. I'm thinking that's an important part from like the gameplay perspective to know that, okay, whatever's influencing humanoids, when you see that tag or something within the Pathfinder 2e game, I think that's important. And then we'll say rabbit as well as special abilities. But then goblin heritage, for instance, you've got goblin heritage here, the Charhide goblin, the Iron Gut goblin, the Razortooth goblin, the Snow goblin, the Unbreakable goblin. So you've got heritages there. And then also here you get at first level, so you have ancestry feats. Hello, Stray. Well, what I was trying to say is this is my first stab at trying to come up with a reasonable take or reasonable adaptation to a species template for Pathfinder 2e for the rabbits. So, does this look reasonable? Because unfortunately, we haven't gone over, and I guess there's been a lot that we've been going over. So I haven't taken as deep dive into Pathfinder 2e as I would have liked. David says that seems pretty good to me. Sable Phoenix says, I've been eyeing it for a while, but only got it once the OGL travesty happened. Yeah, I had it before then, but I never even read it until we got into the OGL situation. And we haven't even, we went all through the core box, which is great. But this is really one of the first times I've been into the core book for this. Dave Sim says the +1 on initiative is a bit strong. I'd perhaps put that into a new heritage and make it a flat +1 circumstance bonus. Okay, so heritage options. So wait, where are we going here? Oh, right here. Always ready. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to initiative rolls due to your natural reflexes. So this needs to come down, you think, to this is a bit strong. I'd perhaps turn that into a new heritage and make it a flat +1 circumstance bonus. That should definitely be a circumstance. That should definitely be a heritage option and not a base. So this you're recommending cutting here. and then coming up with a different potential heritage. Zero the Blade says a level 4 Pathfinder 2 PC is stronger than a level 6 D&D PC. Level 4. Okay, level 4 is stronger than a level 6 D&D PC because of the mass amount of customizations. So, power creep, a lot of power. It's a lot harder to make a bad build than with D&D. It's too easy to make unoptimized with 5e, especially. Well, yeah, which is not something I think about when I'm playing 5e characters much. Steel Mongoose says, yeah, I love the idea of character options, but the optimal builds come to the top and pretty much become the class anyway. Well, okay, let's look at how they now there is also so there's I'm noticing before we move away from the ancestry here. I do see that we've got ancestry feats like from the goblins here, which is a lot of them. It says at first level you gain 1 ancestry feat and you gain an additional ancestry feat every 4 levels thereafter. As a goblin, you can select from the following ancestry feats. So we've got this is like 2 pages, maybe 3 pages. It's basically 2 pages of different feats that goblins can take as part of an ancestry feat. Does everybody have that? Yeah, okay, so like gnomes over here. Gnomes, at first level, you gain 1 ancestry feat and you gain an additional ancestry feat for every 4 levels thereafter. As a gnome, you select among the following ancestry feats. So I need to come up with feats for these? That's what it sounds like. But now I'm only going to level 5 here. In this book, I'm only going to level 5. So there are only so many options that I have to have. In fact, well, I guess everybody's playing everybody's playing a rabbit. I need more than one level 1 option. But maybe only a couple of level 4. At 5th level. So at 5th level, you would get 1 more. So there's quite a bit here about ancestries. Herbivore. Bane of the background, Stray says. David Sims, I think that's best. Also, the burrowing option is pretty much useless without burrow speed. When creating ancestry feats, I think level 13 is when ancestries get the option to have a burrow speed. Oh, really? So they would get one. So they would gain a burrow speed of 5 feet, but only through loose soil. So that could increase later at 13th level, but it would allow them to burrow slowly through loose soil. Let me make note of this. Whoop. Yeah, because of the eyes here. But see, that could also be what gives them their +1 to initiative. Micah says that's why I like class customization systems, because you better build for the role you want, but have a better but have to choose how deep to invest versus balancing the weaker. Yeah, you'll probably need about 5 level 1 feats, which is also going to be taking up more page count here. 3 level 5, 9, and 13 feats, and then 1 or 2 17th level feats. Well, I won't worry about that right now. The higher level ones. So I need about 5 level 1 feats and 3 level 5 feats. Let me make note of this. Okay, so then I need class feats. Now this is ancestry feats. And we got a recommendation to go 5 level 1. 3 level 5 feats. Although the first place I would start though is trying to come up with like what feats are analogous to what particular type of race that's already exists in Pathfinder, because they're kind of, in this case, they're kind of the human equivalent. The halflings, we were using that as a model for the mice. Human ancestry feats. Oh, here's human. So we do have human ancestry feats. So humans get, I wonder if we'd start by looking at some things that humans would get, like cooperative nature. Like a short human lifespan, lifespan lends perspective and is taught you from a young age to set aside differences and work with others to achieve greatness. You would gain a +4 circumstance bonus on checks to aid, general training, natural ambition, natural skill. So maybe something like that could work. Check for this. Check analog. Check an analog ancestry for the rabbits and start there. The page count on this is going to be rough. Last Phoenix says, yeah, everybody gets a bunch of ancestry feats during progression. Yeah, so at least I get 1 in 5. Do something like keen ears +2 perception. That's what they've got with keen ears. Keen ears +2 perception. Or you think it should be or the springy legs? Rabbits can leap up to 20 feet. I feel like these two right here, especially. I was trying to think, what is it that if you were playing one of these, that you would we most stereotypically, I guess, associate with being a rabbit? Big ears and jumping. That seems like what people would want to be able to do. Tomocrat says Pathfinder is a little feet crazy. Okay, yes, increasing later with a feat option would be good. So yeah, so okay, so it looks like we won't have to get to that right now. But if they typically get stuff like that, like burrow speeds around 13 feet, level 13, that would be a great thing in the full book that goes up to whatever levels to start to include. Sable Phoenix says Pathfinder is much better balanced than D&D. That's one of the core design goals they were trying to reach with Pathfinder 2e, to make every option worthwhile. Because if there's not a reason to take options, then why even have it, right? Well, but here's the other situation that PH is correct on. That says if you end up with too many, then you forget you have them. The problem I had with Pathfinder 2e was that characters had too many abilities, skills, traits, etc. It was common for people to forget they had a feat that would help them in the situation. That's the downside to that. Okay, so here though, let's take a look. EZd6 rabbits. So let's pull up EZd6. And remind ourselves what a race or an ancestry or whatever they call it in here looks like. What are they made of? Create a pusher and a shover. Okay, the first thing you're supposed to do is choose a hero path, This will be your role in the party. Choose from warrior, warden, delver, brute, rascal, friar, conjurer, beastmaster, or skald. The next thing you're supposed to do is choose a species. So, okay, we got species first. So let's just do species first here. Okay. These are really short and to the point in EZd6. So as an example, so you can see it, edit, paste, and match style. So like this is what we've got. This is like what we say. Well, that did not paste over very well. Human is pick a third inclination. So that might be, is this the way a rabbit goes? Should that be what the rabbit is? I mean, if so, that's short. my page count likes that. Pick a third inclination. Either way, these are going to be short. But I still think that actually we should probably emphasize the ears and the jumping, because that's what people stereotypically associate with rabbits. And if you're playing one, I think that's the kind of thing, the abilities that you're going to be looking for. Ridiculous way for this to paste. Okay, but the elf right here. So the elf has twilight sight, see twice as far in dim light, and a boon to resist mind-altering magics. So for reference, that's what an elf is. So that's all it says. Twilight sight, see twice as far in dim light, boon to resist mind-altering magics. So does every one of them have a boon? So the dwarf has boon to resist poison. So some type of like tunnel sight. Dwarf has tunnel sight and then boon to resist poison. Halfling has another breakfast, start with a healing potion. And then, okay, so then larger foes have difficulty hitting you, +1 to your target. So that would need to be the mouse later on. Goblin, nooks and crannies. As a move, a goblin can jump into avoid being attacked for a turn if they don't cover. If they don't attack, cover on broken ground must be near the goblin, as well as night sight. So both elf and dwarf are designed with, in this case, sight, but then also a boon of some kind. So I think rather than just doing this, I feel like the rabbit should have like a boon. Well, I guess that just put on jumping, right? How would you write this in EZd6? Like a boon on any, do they call it a check? We'll have to check. I'll have to check on the check. A boon check to, boon check involving jumping. Well, can you get 2 boons? Boon on any checks involving jumping and hearing? On hearing and jumping. That would be simple. We may need to start to get the see what the book on creating characters says. Micah says it's still not to the level that a universal system is with how many options there may be, but it does get pretty close. Well, see, GURPS has that problem on 2 levels, that you can forget that they exist, the options exist to even take them. And then once you've taken them, you might forget that you took them. Just looking through the comments here. Stray says, I would take a feat for RP reasons, for roleplay reasons, but that's just me. Carl says, for EZd6, you can mostly just change advantages to boons and disadvantages to banes. For instance, they get a boons for agility and perception, and maybe a bane to resist poisons or disease. PH says, I feel deep customization should happen in-game by building relations during role-playing, meaning that your fighter, that what makes your fighter apart from others are not so much what they can do, but what you choose to do. So jumping works. Boon to jumping and listening. Jumping and listening, rather than hearing. TSL Frontman says, anyone else kind of wish 5e D&D had the same double distance for dark vision? The same double distance? Oh, you think hearing works better? Jumping and listening? Trey says, if rabbits are the game's main species, I would treat them like humans and have other species adjust from here. So that's the other option. Like I said, the other option could have been just to say that what was the human trait. Let me copy that back over. Which is pick a third inclination. So a human would be pick a third inclination. But if you're specifically playing in the world of Tales of Rabivania and you're playing a rabbit for the first time, I feel like you should get something that I feel like you should get something rabbit-like. And actually, okay, I talked about that. Where did we talk about that when we were talking about the GURPS forum or something like that? Because I forget, because that was brought up that, okay, do you make the rabbits like human-like and have everything else adjust off of it? Because if you do that, like for instance, people are saying, well, then what you do is you just say that however far rabbits can jump, that becomes your just standard jump. And so instead of making rabbits good at jumping, you make everybody else bad at jumping. But that seems more clumsy to me. That if something can't jump as well as a rabbit, the easier thing to do, I guess, is just to give the rabbits a bonus on jumping, rather than having to explicitly say that everything else is not as good at jumping as a rabbit. And so that's why I was going that way. That, well, if they're better than the typical people around them in this particular area, then go ahead and give them a bonus. I feel like that gives you as a character something cool and stereotypical is the word I've been using. That might not be exactly the right word, but stereotypical about being a rabbit, and it stops you from having to adjust everything else backwards. Okay, so that was so halfling starts with a healing potion. So like a mouse could do that later. So those are our main two options. Hearing. Yeah, hearing is probably better because that involves like you're not actively listening for something, but something's coming in behind you or something like that, or something's about to jump behind you. That would involve your hearing. It wouldn't necessarily involve your having to actively listen for it. Listening might imply something a bit more active. So maybe hearing is better. Boon on any checks involving jumping and hearing. So that's one option. Or make rabbits like humans, which would be pick a third inclination. Let's see. I think Carl brings this up. That's okay. That's what I was just thinking about. Yeah, that if you treat rabbits as baseline, you have to factor disadvantages from jumping, hearing, and so on. And in some games, that might not matter. But I was thinking about that, especially in terms of GURPS. Like if you're doing a real detailed system, especially like GURPS, how do you do that? And it seems like converting everything to be rabbit baseline. Now, some people had said make the mouse baseline. Makes them like the mouse baseline. That way, the rabbits do have certain advantage and other things have an advantage. That maybe in this world, the mouse would be baseline and the rabbits would have some kind of advantage, which does make sense because the rabbits are running things. Carl makes stuff, says, I see your point, but there can be overweight rabbits who cannot jump or the ones who have lost their hearing. Archetypical, I think that's the word that was fitting better. Archetypical aspects of rabbits. But this is specifically for our adventuring rabbits, especially when we've got such little here to work with, like in EZd6. We don't have that much anyway, and we're intentionally creating what they call a mover and a shover, or a puncher and a shover. A mover, I think it was a mover and a shover. Pushers and shovers. So it doesn't sound like the characters in EZd6 are like that. Last Phoenix says the mouse starts with healing cheese. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking something exactly like that. Vision says, good morning, guys. Yes, please do click the like button if you're here. CS Pepper says, simply, if D&D Dark Vision was see twice as far and dim or similar, get players away from thinking they have night vision goggles built into their eyes. And it's because so many of them do. Daniel says, in a 5e sense, it would be like a variant human getting a starting feat or regular human starting with +1 on all stats. I don't think there's a real problem here. Okay, well, let's just take a look briefly then. I'm not going to go real late today, but let's take a look at the night situation. In fact, we might not actually get into this too deep because we've been going for about an hour, and I typically have started going for a bit longer than half an hour. But I've got things I've got to do today, and we'll be back on for a members only stream tonight. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you and talking with you. Character classes, because character classes seem to be more complicated. We've got champion. Okay, let's take a look. But let's just take a look at we got fighter, right? Because I was seeing people say, well, instead of creating a new class, what you do is you talk about how the fight, like you would change up the fighter. So for instance, I'm just looking here at the fighter. So what type of stuff do we have to create a full-fledged Pathfinder fighter? So we do have key ability, strength or dexterity. At first level, your class gives you an ability boost to your choice of strength or dexterity. So it seems like then what's going to happen, especially based on what everybody's been talking about right here, that we're going to have a whole lot of options. We had a whole bunch of options inside our ancestry. We're going to have a whole bunch of options inside our fighter class as well. So hit points are 10 plus your constitution modifier. You increase your maximum number of hit points by this number at first level and every level thereafter. So our heritage gave us, or our ancestry gave us hit points as well. So like the goblin said 6. So, and then we have that we have some type of hit point die for the Pathfinder, for the rabbit as well. So you get a lot more hit points too. So hit points 10 plus your constitution modifier. You increase your maximum number of hit points by this number at first level and every level thereafter. That's a lot of hit points. So let's see, initial proficiencies. At first level, you gain the listed proficiency ranks in the following statistics. You are untrained in anything not listed unless you gain better proficiency rank in some other way. So perception, expert in perception, saving throws, expert in fortitude, expert in reflex, trained in will, skills, trained in your choice of acrobatics or athletics, trained in a number of additional skills equal to 3 plus your intelligence modifier. So it seems like with this, they're also saying, you know, do you want to be the agile fighter or do you want to be the strong fighter? It's basically letting you choose. You don't get, it's not shoehorning you into one type of fighter or another. It's got, I can see it's basically got two options, because your key ability would either be strength or dexterity, and then your skills, like, do you want to be athletics or acrobatics? Trained in a number of additional skills equal to 3 plus your intelligence modifier. Attacks, expert in simple weapons, expert in martial weapons, trained in advanced weapons, expert in unarmed strikes. Defensives, trained in all armor, trained in unarmed defense. Class DC, trained in fighter class DC. Oh, fighter advancement table. So like at 5th level, if we're going through 5th level here, level 1, ancestry and background, initial proficiencies, attack of opportunity, fighter feat, shield block. Oh, yeah. Because attack of opportunity is just something that they do. So at level 2, you get a fighter feat and a skill feat. Fighter feat and skill feat? 3, bravery, general feat, and skill increase. Man, there are a bunch of different types of feats. So we got ancestry feats, class feats, skill feats, general feats, skill increased. At level 4, fighter feat, skill feat. 5, ability boosts, ancestry feat, fighter weapon mastery, and skill increase. Well, hopefully things like, I mean, I probably won't have to write out skill or fighter feats. So maybe I can come through here and say, hey, in order to build a knight, you build it off of fighter, and here's the recommended things. So the last Phoenix says, in Pathfinder, you get HP from race, ancestry, HP from class, making first level character less one-shottable. Yeah, the Goblin Fighter would have like 16 plus charisma hit point, constitution hit points. David Sims says, classes in Pathfinder 2e are really involved. I would recommend looking at archetypes for things like this personally. That allows you to create the correct feel without having to write a whole new class. Yeah, it seems like I do not want to write out whole new classes. Right. That seems like that's not how I want to go. But it would be great if there were enough flexibility within the Pathfinder classes to say, listen, these are the kinds of things that are appropriate and these are the kinds of things that are not. You can also determine minimum levels and other prerequisites. Archetypes didn't, well, okay, what is that? Like I said, I'm not going to go too late today, but let's figure that out. The Advanced Player's Guide. I've got the Advanced Player's Guide right here. Here, I'll take this down. Look at archetypes. Ancestries and backgrounds. Classes. Oh, archetypes right here. 148. So what is archetypes in this? It says, beyond your class and general feats. This is the advanced book after all, right? So beyond your class and general feats, you can expand your character concept by choosing an archetype. Are you more heavily armored than your peers from the Sentinel archetype? Are you a Viking experienced in seafaring and raiding? Perhaps you're a medic tending to the fallen. These are just a few possibilities that archetypes offer. So great character concepts don't always fit neatly into a single class. If you want to build on what your character's class allows them to do, using an archetype in a similar way to adapt to any class to fit your use an archetype in a simple way. Using an archetype is a simple way to adapt any class to fit your vision of your character. Applying an archetype requires you to select archetype feats instead of class feats. Okay, so we got more. We have a new category of feats. Dave Sims says, they are basically a collection of feats, both new and existing along a theme. So, for instance, list of archetypes here. So we do have Sometimes an archetype feat grants another feat, such as the alchemist's base concoction. You must still meet the prerequisites of the feat you gain in this way. List of archetypes. The following archetypes appear in this chapter. So we've got things like acrobat, archaeologist, archer, assassin, bastion, beastmaster, blessed one, bounty hunter, cavalier. Hey, let's look at cavalier. We do have Viking. We do have witch as well in here. Let's just see what cavalier is. 164. Here we go. So cavalier. You are a skilled and dedicated warrior of the battlefield who specializes in fighting astride a powerful animal companion that serves as your mount. You and your mount are an unparalleled team, moving with shared intent to become a powerful force on the battlefield. You might wield a banner in the name of a great organization, a liege, or an ideal you uphold, or you might fight solely to further enrich your own prestige, reputation, and coffers. So we do have a bunch of feats here. Yes, we've got like Cavalier Dedication, feat 2, Cavalier's Banner, feat 4, Cavalier's Charge, feat 4, Impressive Mount, feat 4, Defend Mount, Quick Mount, Incredible Mount, Trampling Charge. So yes, it's a bunch of new feats. Oh, you have Celebrity as well. Okay, I'm going to have to look at that, but that might also be a way to go. All right, I'm going to have to think about that. I'm glad I didn't try to do any more with this book. I'm glad I didn't try to do any more with it. Like say, hey, I'm going to start off by writing a book like this for Rabivania. Nope, not possible. Let's start small. Glad I'm starting small. Thank you, TSL Frontman. Yes, please do hit the like button, everybody. And hey, please do consider joining us tonight for the hangout. We're going to be hanging out. If you want to come on at the stream, then you can come on the stream if you've got something to say. We're having conversations, so this is not will not be a place for argumentation or debate, but we can have conversations about all kinds of things if you would like to. Or you don't have to come on the stream. Yeah, you can come on the stream, by the way, and only be audio. You don't have to be visual. If you don't want to be visual, you can be audio only on the stream. You can do that if you like. We can talk about all the different things we've been talking about over this past week. All these kinds of different things are on the table. You can be audio only, or you can just come by and listen. Sable Phoenix says, all well-designed as Pathfinder 2. I think tightness actively discourages the type of huge third-party scene that D&D has. So multi-classing archetypes are basically multi-classing. All right. Well, I'm going to have to go through a lot of this. And then I got to find somebody who is an expert in it to go over these things and make sure they sound right. This is interesting. Sable Phoenix says, ironically, 5e is poorly designed, and that makes it successful because everyone homebrews for it, and everyone thinks theirs is worth selling. So we have less of that in Pathfinder. I'll think about that. I'm going to think about that as I'm going through here. Okay, so yes, please do come by for a positive hangout. I'm going to be painting miniatures tonight. I'm going to try to get work done and reward myself by painting miniatures tonight. That'll be 7 o'clock. I'll go ahead and post that link soon. That'll be 7 o'clock tonight. I'm going to try to reward myself with painting some miniatures after getting some work done on some projects that I have got to do. I would love to see everybody. So have a wonderful afternoon. Well, yeah, rest of the morning, afternoon. Be constructive, be creative, and grind on. Later, everybody.